Chapter 10, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. Footnotes. Shem, note the acidenton, appendix 6 here, and contrast the polysyndenton of 713. This order in 5:32, 6:10, 7:13, 9:18, and 1 Chronicles 1:4. Japheth, the eldest, 1 Chronicles 1:5 and Genesis 10:21. Ham, the second, Genesis 9:24, younger than Japheth. Shem, the youngest. Last here in introversion because his history is to be continued. Japheth equals enlargement, Ham equals heat, black, Shem equals name or renown. Verse 2. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog and Madai and Javan and Tubal and Meshech and Tiras. There's 2 footnotes. Gomer, in Assyrian, Gemira, the Cimmerians of Herodotus, progenitor of the Celts. Magog, associated with Gomer in Ezekiel 38, 2 and 6. Madai, first seen in Assyrian monuments in BC 840 and called Mada, equals the Kurdish tribes east of Assyria. Javan, the Ionians of the cuneiform inscriptions and the Tel El Amarna tablets, Greeks first known by this name. Tubal, the Tabali. Meshech, down here. Meshech, the Muska of the Assyrian Mon-E Asia Minor. Tiras, Thracians. Verse 3, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. No footnotes. Verse 4, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Verse 4 footnotes are here and here, all the way down to there. Elisha, Egyptian Alatia, the Silicon Coast. Tarshish is probably Tarsus. Kittim equals Kition in Cyprus. See note on Numbers 24:24. Dodanim equals Roddanim. 1 Chronicles 1:7 with Samuel and Septuagint, or with I forgot what the SAM stood for. The SEPT is Septuagint. That's another. The SAM must be another translation of the Bible, one of the old ones. So, verse 5, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. Let's see, 5. Right there. 5 isles, coastlands, Isaiah 42:15. In there, these were the sons of Japheth in there, and etc. For these fourfold divisions, compare chapter 10, verses 5, 20, and 31, and all these verses in Revelation. There's many of them. 10 occurrences, Appendix 10. And B, in Revelation 13:7, all critical texts add and people. And B, the same divisions can be seen in Israel. In Genesis, families. In Exodus, tongues. In Numbers, nation. In Deuteronomy, the land. In Leviticus, the sanctuary as being apart from the earth. Verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Phut and Canaan. Verse 6 footnotes. All the way down here. Cush in Ethiopia, south of Egypt. Mizraim, Egypt, became the name of Egypt. The two Matzors. One Matzor was country of Delta within the Great Wall of Defense called Shur. The other was Egypt proper. See notes on Isaiah 19:6 and 37:25. Phut, compare Jeremiah 46:9, Ezekiel 27:10, and the rest of these verses. Canaan became a province of Egypt as shown by the Tel El Amarna tablets. Verse 7. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Ramah, and Sabteka, and the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. Verse 7, no footnotes about those names. Verse 8, and Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth. Nimrod, from Hebrew, marad, to rebel, first person, plural, jussive, we will rebel, come let us rebel, see Appendix 28. Mighty one, a hero, NB, from Ham, not from Shem. And that's the end of it right there. Verse 9. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before the Lord. Verse 9, footnotes, hunter, compare Jeremiah 16:16. It is said, a later proverb of Semitic origin, as Jehovah was not known in Babylonia before, in defiance of 6:11. Beginning of verse 10 at the end of the page. In the beginning of his kingdom was Babel and Erech and Akkad and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Verse 10 footnotes. Babel, in Semitic Babylonian, Bab-ili, the gate of the god, compare 11:9. Shinar, Babylonia, and it is to be distinguished from Assyria. Verse 11. Out of that land went forth Asher and builded Nineveh and the city Rehoboth and Calah. Verse 11 footnotes. Went forth. Targ of Ankh says, that's another old translation. He, Nimrod, went forth into Asher, i.e., he invaded it. Nineveh, the competitor of Babylon as the capital of Assyria. The city Rehoboth equals better. The city boulevards in parentheses. Verse 12. And reason between Nineveh and Calah is the same. And reason between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city. Where it says great in the footnotes, i.e., the four cities Nineveh, Rehoboth, Calah, and Rezin. Rezin had ceased to be a great city in the time of Sennacherib. Verse 13. And Mizraim begat Ludim and Ananim and Lehabim and Naphtahim. Ludim in the footnotes. The Lydians, compare Jeremiah 46:9, Ezekiel 27:10, 35. 14. And Pathrusim and Caslahim, out of whom came Philistim and Caphtorim. 14 footnotes. Philistim, hence the name of Palestine. Compare Amos 9:7, Jeremiah 47:4. The parentheses in this verse should come after the Caphtorim, as these gave the name Philistine. The five cities of the Philistines, Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Ekron, and Gath, were on the confines of Egypt. Deuteronomy 2:23. Verse 15, and Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth. Sidon, the oldest Canaanite city, Heth, the Hittites. 16, and Jebusite, the Amorite, and the Girgasite. 16 footnotes. Jebusite, the founders of Jebus, afterwards Jerusalem. The citadel was afterwards Zion, south of Moriah. 2 Samuel 5, 6 through 9. Compare Ezekiel 16:3 and verse 45, which explains the connection of the Jebusite here with the Amorite and Hittite, verse 15. 17. And the Hivite and the Archite and the Sinite. 18. And the Arvadite and the Zemarite and the Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. 19. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. Verse 20, these are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. Footnote on tongues, see verse 5. Verse 21, unto Shem also the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born. 21, Shem comes last according to the structure, which is an introversion because his generations occupy the rest of the book. Hence, when mentioned with the other two, Shem, the youngest, comes first. See notes on these three verses. 22, the children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. There's a note on Elam, the mountainous district east of Babylonia. 23, and the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. Uz, the country of the Sabians and Chaldeans, see Job 1:15, 17, and Teman near Petra. 24, and Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. Eber, once the name Hebrews, Genesis 14:13, beyond. The people coming from and beyond the flood, i.e. the Euphrates, to Canaan. Joshua 24:2, 3, 14, and 15. 25. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Peleg, division. His generations reserved till 11, 10 through 27. Divided, Hebrew Peleg, to cleave. In verses 5 and 32, parad, to break off. In Deuteronomy 32:8, it is nehel, to divide for an inheritance. 26. And Joktan begat Almadad, and Seleph, and Hazarmaveth, and Jerah. 27. And Hadaram, and Uzal, and Diklah. 28. And Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba. 29. And Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab, all these were the sons of Joktan. 30. And their dwelling was from Mesha, and as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. 31. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. Footnote on families, etc. Note the thrice repeated fourfold division in verses 5 and 20. See Appendix 10. 32. These are the families of the sons of Noah, and after their generations, in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. 32. Divided, i.e. in judgment. Compare verse 25. Here, parad equals disruption in judgment. God's division, verse 25, included Zion. Man's disruption included Babylon. Chapter 11, verses 2 and 9.